Hi everyone, welcome back to Box Delights. Today we're playing Wild Serengeti and we're playing this solo. The game is designed by Gung Ho Kim and published by Bad Comet. Let's dive into it. We're playing solo. I'm the pink player. This is the board representing the Serengeti. This is an action selection area which I've already set up. We've got a rule book. This is my player area. We are making a film about the wildlife of the Serengeti, and we're going to do this by collecting scene cards. This is a big deck that's been shuffled up. In the solo game, you're going to get through about half of this deck, very much half the deck. In the solo mode, there's 6 scenarios that you can play, each one offering different challenges. We're scoring points, so each mode will ask you to score a certain number of points, maybe with certain conditions. I'm just going to do the challenge mode for you. And there's 2 challenge modes. Using a specialist. This is a stack of different specialists that bring their own special abilities or limitations. Some are easier than others. Or you can play with no specialist. I'm not going to use a specialist today, so we're just going to go basic vanilla, because these will change up the rules. Okay. I've got an expansion in here. It was like a Kickstarter special expansion. It comes with its own bag of single miniatures of different species that a specialist brings, but we're not going to be using those today. So we're just playing the base game, collecting scenes. It's a set collecting game fundamentally, where you're going to be making patterns on this grid that represents the Serengeti to match requirements of these scene cards, collect scene cards to create sets that score you points. All right. There's a certain level of engine building in here as well, because some cards will generate resources. We've got coins, we've got special effects, we've got food, and these will allow you to do extra stuff. But also some scenes rely on other icons. So you've got different food icons, flowers, bananas, leaves, and these paws as well, and hearts, which are likes on social media, likes. Collecting sets of those might drive other cards to score more highly. All right. So there's a little bit of that going on. So the way you play will be very much determined on which specialist you choose, but also what sets of cards are coming out. Right, let's get into it and finish the solo setup. We're going to create an offer of 8 cards. It's 6 in the normal multiplayer game, but in the solo game it's 8. But before we do that, and this is important, it has to be before in the solo game, we're going to pick 2 animals from each of these. They're called discovery areas, right? So we've got carnivorous predators, large mammals, scavengers, and migratory herbivores. 2 from each of these, and we can place them on the board. So effectively seeding the board however we wish at the beginning of the game. Before we look at what types of scenes and what types of challenges, so we're kind of doing this with no knowledge, if you like. So it's pretty random. It doesn't make a lot of difference what goes where. Yeah, it really doesn't matter. Incidentally, there's 2 sides to this board. 2 more. Okay, that'll do. We've got a score tracker going around the outside. We start on 0, so we've got 2 of these kind of camera meeples, that one to track your score, one to track which action you're selecting. All right, we've got 8 seeded on the board there. Now we can create this scene offer of 8 cards. So these are the things that we're trying to complete to score us points. Also up here we've got the Rock of Ages. This is a 3D model of cardboard, and we've got a hornbill which marks the round. So we'll start here on round 1. We're going to play 6 rounds of the game, and then our score is going to be calculated. Now for the challenge mode with no specialist, in my last game I got 137 points. That was actually my first game, so I'm only playing for the second time here. So 137 points, so I got great. So I'd like to get more than that. I'd like to get at least 140 if I can. single player. Right, now the hornbill says at the beginning of round 1 we start with 6 coins, and then this icon here says we can't swap animal positions and we can't move animals. Right, I'll show you that in a second. Let's take our 6 coins. We've also got at the start of rounds 4 and round 6 these challenges, right? These awards. We've chosen 2 at random. I can reveal them now. So the first one says we get points for each rhino in our scenes, and this one for each gazelle. Alright, so when we're looking at these different scenes, rhinos and gazelles are worth extra points. Now the solo rules add 1 extra rule. So apart from changing this from 6 to 8 and offering you a target score and seeding the board, alright, the extra thing is these awards, normally the player with the most would get first prize and second would get second prize. Obviously there is no other player in the solo game, so what they've said at the beginning of round 4, in order to get the prize you need at least 4 rhinos, and then at the beginning of round 6 at least 8. So 4 and 8, those are the 2 numbers to remember in the solo game. A minimum of 4 to get first prize, otherwise you get second prize. Right, let's do our starting hands. We draw 8 cards, and we're going to choose 4 of these and discard 4. All right, and that's how we begin the game. All right, let's have a look at these cards. We're going to choose 4 of them. I was hoping for some cards that would give me some resources, but we don't have them. I like this one because it gives me likes. Likes are worth a lot of points. These ones give me animal icons, so they count towards the awards. So although I said we need to collect rhinos and gazelles, these are kind of like wild. So when you're counting the number of rhinos, you're counting the number of rhinos in your scenes, but also add on these animal icons. So they're quite good. And this one's quite good too because it gives food. I'd like to show food. So possibly these 2 gazelles. I think that one's quite hard. Maybe I'll take these 4. So I've got a fair few gazelles amongst these and lots of animal icons. That'll help me. Got 1 rhino, so that's not many. But we're working up to a big score at the end. Okay. Alright, we'll toss these. We'll put a discard pile over here. We've also got a player aid that tells you what you can do on your turn. There's a guide to icons. So food helps you move animals around. A visual effects token allows you to ignore some terrain requirements. We'll look at that when we get there. If you see a diamond, that's a rare icon, and these rare icons kind of interact with each other to give you lots of points. Animals count as 1 award during icon award ceremony. I showed you that already. Likes, and you can see how these are worth lots of points. 10 likes is worth 50 points, which is huge, right? So likes are good. So this game will encourage you to collect things with likes, right? These hearts. Plants are not so good, but they do tend to multiply. So if you get lots of one of a particular plant, like this, they tend to help. So collecting plants is really that set collection thing, and it's very much geared towards your specialists as well. So different specialists will reward you for having different sets of icons. Okay. Some are easier than others, so few green ones, that means it makes the game easier. Location scout, 5 red dots here means harder. Okay, harder to play. Okay, cool. Alright, on your turn then, you've got a whole bunch of free actions. You can discard 2 cards to get a coin. We'll look at coins. Coins basically means how many actions do I get to take. An action normally costs 1 coin. If you want to take the same action twice in a row, the second time costs you 2 coins. That's something you really don't want to do because you're just reducing the number of actions you can take. You'd be much better just to skip to another action, pay a coin, and then skip back, pay a coin. Right? So you never really want these 2 coin spaces. They're a little bit redundant. A free action is completing a scene, and then you can spend food and FX, special effects tokens, that's also free. We'll look at that when we get there. We'll skip round preparation on first round because it's all been happened during setup, but we're just going to keep spending coins, placing our action token on which action we want to take here on the action board until we get down to a minimum of 2 coins or we run out of coins. So you can stop taking actions, end the round, move on when you've got a maximum of 2 coins left, or you can keep going until you run out of coins or tokens. Then you pass, move on to the next round. Okay, so what is it we're trying to achieve? This scene here says we need a lion in the rocks, a rhino in the rocks, and a giraffe in the rocks. Okay. If we complete that, we complete the scene. Remember, completing scenes is a free action. We can play this into a player area, and we've collected 2 like icons, 2 hearts. Right. This one's about adjacency. The animal at the top is called the central animal. In this case, a vulture. We've got a vulture here. The vulture needs to have a gazelle and a leopard adjacent in one of the 8 adjacent spaces. So let's say the vulture was here. We've got a leopard adjacent, okay, so vulture in the middle, and then a leopard and a gazelle in one of these 8 spaces surrounding. So it's 1 animal per square. And there's also terrain requirements on here. It says we need a gazelle in the grass and a leopard in the water. We've got a leopard in the water, so that's fine. We need to somehow get this gazelle over here. Okay, there's no terrain icon here on the vulture, so it could be anywhere, but we've got a gazelle in the grass and a leopard in the water. All right, so diagonally adjacent counts 2. So the gazelle could be here, that's in the grass as well. Right. So you're looking for these blocks of 9 squares, if you like, with the one at the top in the middle. Right, that's adjacency. Okay. Right. Put things back where they were. Now, how do we move these animals around? That's what these actions are all about. Now remember, I told you, the Hornbill said at the start of round 1, we can't use this action, which is swap the position of animals, and we can't use this action, which is moving animals. Right, so if we can't swap the positions or move animals, how do we get them there? Well, we've got these discover actions which we can use. So to get a gazelle up there on the grass, we could actually just take a discover migratory herbivore, which is this action here, pay the coin because it costs a coin, and we can place the gazelle anywhere on the map, so we could place it in that grass. Okay, that's those actions. Right. Cool. But when you're doing this stuff, you've got to try and look at the cards ahead. So there's quite a bit of AP here, but I've noticed there's a little bit of synergy between these 3 cards. So what I'm actually going to do is, well, I need a gazelle in the woods for this one, and I need a gazelle in the grass for this one, so I might just do this one first. Try and head towards this. So, think about it. My first action, I've got 6 coins here. Every player gets one of these little video things. It kind of just borders their player. It says, this is my territory, alright? Okay, so we take our action, we'll place it anywhere on the board. Remember, I can't take these. So I'm going to discover a gazelle. So I'm going to place it in the discover migratory herbivores action. Now in a multiplayer game, no 2 players can put their token in the same space, but you've only got 1 action token. So if I wanted to do this again, I have to move it here and pay 2, which is C. But in a solo game, you don't really want to do that. All you do is move back and then back again. But in a multiplayer game, you're blocking out spaces. Now in a 4-player game, there's extra spaces for other players, but we've got those blocked off in a 1, 2, 3 player game. All right, so it does kind of scale a little bit, this action selection. But here I go. I'm going in here. I'm paying 1 coin. There's the reminder. I'm going to place one of these 7 animals. All right, so I can place wildebeests. I can place zebras. I can place gazelles. So I'm going to place a gazelle. Pay my coin. And this is why it becomes, these coins really become how many actions you can take. And I'm going to place my gazelle, and I can place it anywhere in the Serengeti. I'm going to place it here. Okay. Now, as a free action, remember, placing your action token and taking an action is costing a coin, but free actions are completing scenes. So let's have a look. The animal at the centre is a gazelle in the woods. The icon there tells you this is the woods. And adjacent to that is a gazelle in the grass. Okay, adjacent. Remember, in one of these 8 surrounding squares is a gazelle in the grass. I've completed this scene. So I place this here. Now I'm actually going to use this as a little divider. Anything that I've completed I'm going to place above my line. Anything incomplete below the line. Alright, that helps me solo. Right, then I've got one animal icon. That does nothing on its own, but it helps me towards completing those awards. Remember we saw those on the Rock of Ages? The Rhino Holic Award and the Gazelle Laureate Award. Right. So this counts as 1, 2, 3 gazelles, and it also counts as 1 rhino. Alright, off we go. Next. These 2 generate FX icons. These don't generate anything. So these are like immediate rewards, and these are the resources icons that it generates. So this one generates likes, this one generates fruit, this one generates FX. I really wanted to see some cards generating food, but I don't see any. But these are useful, so I'm thinking about getting one of these down as well. Possibly this one. We'll see. Anyway, I have got to take the rewards for this one. So this is the icon it's generated. This bit here in this white banner is the immediate reward, and it says 3 star. That's 3 victory points. So I moved this up. Now that's kind of insignificant. Remember, I set myself a target of going for 140 points. So 3 out of 140. Yeah, it's not huge, right? The big points come from building big sets. But this one is a good target. So I'm going to move my action token over to here, pay a coin, and place another vulture. Remember, I can't move or swap in round 1, so we're just seeding the board. Once I place them, they stay where they go. I'm going to place him here. And now I think I've completed this one as well. So our central bird is a vulture on any terrain, it doesn't specify. It needs to be adjacent to a gazelle in the grass and a leopard in the water. That's it, we've completed that one. So, no icons generated, but we got an immediate reward, which is 2 food and draw 1 card from the scene deck. So we've completed this one. We draw a card from the scene deck. Now we've got a hand size of 8. At the moment I've only got 2, but you need a maximum of 8. Alright, so if you ever got more than 8, then you discard down. Okay, did that one really help us? It's worth 8 points, so that's good. Now 8 points is good, but this one asks for a straight line scene. So let me just explain a straight line scene. It's a zebra vulture, zebra. So a straight line scene says zebra, vulture, zebra. It doesn't matter the order, alright? I mean, obviously you can't have 2 zebras, vulture. It has to be zebra, vulture, zebra. Let's give you a different example, actually. Let's say this one here is a straight line scene. It says lion, crocodile, rhino. Okay. Lion, crocodile, rhino. So it could be a straight line like that. Lion, crocodile, rhino. It doesn't matter if there's gaps in between. It doesn't matter if there's another animal in between. Okay, this is still lion, crocodile, rhino in a straight line. Okay, lion, crocodile, rhino, doesn't matter. You can't have lion, rhino, crocodile. That doesn't match. But it could be this way around. Okay, it could be lion, crocodile, rhino. It could be this way around. Lion, crocodile, rhino. So whether you read from left to right or right to left doesn't matter. Or indeed, it could be vertical. Okay, doesn't matter. And like I said, it doesn't matter if you've got animals in between, right? Or gaps in between. Okay, that's a straight line scene. Okay. Okay. So crocodiles and lions are carnivores. But zebra, vulture, zebra, possibly one for the future. It's worth 8 points. Not worried about it right now. I could pass and just push on to the next round, but I've got 4 coins. That would be wasting coins, all right? So I want to get down to at least 2 before I decide to pass. But this one's a possibility, because this one is looking for adjacency. It's looking for a zebra in the middle, adjacent to, in the grass as well, adjacent to a gazelle. We've got a gazelle adjacent to a giraffe. So I might put a giraffe out. And it's a shame I can't put a giraffe in the rocks, because that would also help me towards this. But this is where FX tokens come into play. FX tokens let you ignore terrain requirements. So if this one says a giraffe in the rocks, I could put that on there, special effects, and make it look like he's in the rocks when I film it. Do you see? So it would just be a giraffe anywhere with this token. Lion in the rocks, rhino in the rocks. All right. Cool. And then food tokens. I did get some food, didn't I, as a reward for this one? Yeah, so I drew 1 card from the scene and I got 2 food. Food, I can use food as a free action to move animals. Now, this is not the move animal action. So I can still use this. Although I can't use move animals in round 1, I can still use food. Moving animals moves them 1 space orthogonally. You can't move them diagonally. But if I had 3 tokens, I could move the giraffe 1, 2, 3, but he's a little bit far away to get here. Can I place the giraffe here so he's adjacent to rocks? No. There's not really any incentive for me to get this one down yet, because, I mean, all it does is help me with this award at the beginning of round 4. What I really want is some cards that generate resources. So maybe my next action is going to be to actually take a card from the scene pool. That's this action here. Take 1 card from the scene pool. Now these big spaces, they kind of have an open border. Any number of action tokens can go in there. So in the multiplayer game, if you take this, anyone else can go here. And indeed, there's 2 of them as well. So I could take this action and then do it again next time. But there's also a 1 coin per extra card. So I could take more than 1 card. Now the truth is, in the solo game, you don't ever want to do this one. You only ever want to do this one and just skip back between them. And I'll tell you why. If you go here and then pay a coin, and you can take a card. Or pay a coin, or take a card. I'm going to take this one. This doesn't get refreshed. So if I wanted to take another card now, I could pay more coins. 1 coin per extra card. Once I've completed my action, then this will refresh. So if I just wait, let this refresh, and then skip here, pay the extra coin, now I've got 1 extra card to choose from. Alright? So it always makes sense to just wait. Just pay 1, do it 1 at a time. 1 refresh, 1 refresh, 1 refresh, when playing solo. In a multiplayer game, obviously, you might want to take, you'll take your action, pay extra coins to grab cards that you feel other players may take. Because you're not going to be able to do this and take another action until your turn comes around again. Do you see? Because you're all taking turns, 1 action at a time. Solo game, just skip back and forth between these 2 spaces effectively. So refresh. Now as it goes, I'm keen on putting this down, but I need a rhino in the water, I need a gazelle in the, a giraffe in the grass, adjacent to a lion and a wildebeest. So I can't take the move animal action, but there is a way. I'm going to use my 2 food. Okay, so I'll use 1 food to move this giraffe over here, and then I'm going to use my other food to move the rhino in here. Alright, so it's like you're luring these animals. Then I'm going to use my action up here, pay a coin, to discover a wildebeest. And I'm going to place him here. I don't think it matters too much. Wildebeest in the woods. Yeah, there's no woods around here. I'm going to place him here. Now, one thing you've got to look out for, placing lots of animals out is fine for completing scenes, but if things get too crowded, then you're going to struggle to create adjacencies and move things around because animals are blocking each other. All right, so don't be placing too many animals out. That's my next tip. The other thing to look out for is on the Rock of Ages here, there's a leaping gazelle in rounds 4, 5, and 6. When they come up, you draw one of these migration cards, and I'll give this a shuffle afterwards, but migration cards will remove animals from the grid in these highlighted spots. All right, so they do kind of help you a little bit, and it's kind of a double-edged sword, really. They clear the savannah so that you can place more animals and move things around more easily, but you might be working to get things into position, and the migration removes them, so look out for that. Okay, now I think I've completed another scene. I've got 2 coins left, so I'll probably pass next time, but let's complete this scene first. I think we've got this. We've got central animals, giraffe in the grasslands, adjacent to a rhino in the water, adjacent to a lion, adjacent to a wildebeest. Done. That goes in my play area. Alright. There's no immediate rewards, but it does generate 1 FX token. I'm going to kind of place these in 3 columns. So some cards do nothing. Some cards give you animal icons or food icons. Some cards generate tokens. Alright. And I'll get these at the start of the next round. So unless there's anything I want to do, I don't think there's any more I want to play. No. I've got 2 coins, which is the maximum I can have before I can pass. I could continue playing. If there's cards here in the scene offer that I want to take, do it now, because at the start of the next round this will get cleared and another 8 cards will come out. So if there is stuff here I want, I don't want to pass just yet. This one is the only real possibility, I think. Is it enough to hold off and use another action? Something better might come up. I think we're going to pass. Right, so what happens next? We end the round once we pass. We move the round marker, so the little hornbill moves over. So round 2. This is really helpful, this player aid. Next it says round events. Are there any round events here? So are there any awards, any migrations? No, there aren't. Next step, redraft the scene card pool. Okay, so these all get discarded. And we draw 8 more. Let's see, hopefully we'll get some better stuff. Oh, there's one with a diamond. It's got 3 gazelles on it as well. I might want to take that one. The thing about the diamond ones is they give points based on how many diamonds you have in your scene, in your thing. So the first one you play is worth 2 plus 11, 13 points. 13 points towards my 140 targets. That's quite cool. Alright, that one's worth 10 points. That's nice. That one's worth 9. So these are good. This one's worth 2 likes. That's interesting. Right, so there's a much better pool of cards. There's actually some real good stuff here. That one's worth 3 leaves, so that's quite good. There aren't really cards coming out that generate lots of points for plants, so they're not really working for me. The plants ones tend to be a little bit situational. When they come up, grab them. Otherwise you're focused on likes more than anything. Okay, incidentally the score track goes up to 99, and then when you wrap around you get this nice little, this is an upgraded Kickstarter one, this is a wooden one that goes to 100, and there's a flip side for 200 even. You can also get upgrades for these tokens. I've got the cardboard ones, but there was an add-on on the Kickstarter to get the wooden ones. But no, I didn't buy that. I'm happy with these. These are pretty good as it goes. Right, next step. So we've refreshed the scene card pool. Draw 4 scene cards, then pick 1. So at the start of every round, you get to draw 4 cards, pick 1, discard 3. There's lots of flowers, so flowers might have been good actually. But This one gives an FX token. Maybe I'll take this one just in case I can do it. I don't know if I can, but I'll take this one. Remember, one of your free actions is always to discard 2 cards for a coin anyway. So if you take a bunch of chaff, so let's say I take these two, I've taken these 2, I might decide I'm not even going to bother with these and just toss them and grab a coin, which is effectively an extra action. And actions are what this is all about. Really valuable. Okay, so there we go. So draw 4, keep 1, receive round rewards. So the Rock of Ages tells us round rewards for the start of this round is 6 coins. So I'm going to take 6 coins. Later rounds give you 7 coins. But also at this point, round rewards includes stuff generated by your cards. So I get 1 FX token. Right? So if you've got any food or FX icons, now's the time to grab them. So 1 FX token. Which means I can ignore the terrain requirements now for 1 scene. And then move the first player marker. So there is a first player marker. This is an upgraded wooden one. There is a cardboard little standee one, which is really nice actually. Really nice. But obviously we're playing solo, so we don't need a first player marker. And that's it. We begin again with round 2. 6 rounds in all. We're trying to hit that target score, which, I mean, it says substandard is 100, elite is 180. I hit 137 last time. I want to try and push my way up to at least 140, so that's my own little self-imposed. So you've got a little beat your own score thing. I mean, if you want to, there's different scenarios. So let's have a look. What's this next one? This one is Ecological Survey of the Serengeti. This one says, when the game ends, if the players achieve a higher score than the target score, they win. Target score is 190. Okay. And there's a round goal. It says the sum of the scene cards completed by the players should be greater than equal to round 1, 3 for single player. Okay, so we need to have completed, I've completed 3, so I've actually achieved this goal. If I hadn't, then it's an immediate loss. So you've got to, it's kind of forcing you to complete scenes. So I had to complete at least 3. So trying to get 190, and it may be that I had to complete one of these cheap ones, you know, just a 3VP scene just to hit the target. Okay, so round 2 I've got to complete at least 2 more. So that's the Ecological Survey. Next one, Confidential. This one says the total score should be less than or equal to, at the end of round 1, 0. So I needed to have scored 0 points at the end of round 1. I've scored 3 as it goes. Okay, so you've got to avoid point scoring scenes in this Confidential scenario. So lots of different scenarios, 6 in all, offering different restrictions on the game. Okay, so good, that's a round of Wild Serengeti. If you want to see more, let me know, and I will continue with round 2. Perhaps in the next video we'll go to the end of the game.